Two balls, two strikes. Spores kicks and fires. He struck him out looking. It's over. It's over. The Rangers have won the World Series. Ranger fans, you're not dreaming. The Rangers are the World Series champions. After 52 years in Texas, 63 years of the franchise.
63 years. It took a singular team 63 years to win the ultimate prize in their respective sport. You could break it down and say there's a formula for winning a championship in each major American sport, and it will never follow exactly. But football, for instance, if you have a great quarterback and an above average defense, you have a very good chance that you're going to be in the dance. In basketball, it's been historically shown that if you have one all-time great and some good role players, you have every opportunity you need to win a championship. Hockey, I am completely unaware of your game. I am sorry. I have never watched a game of hockey in my life. Baseball, the only way to predict who will win the championship is to hope and pray. Now, look, I need to clarify. I do not watch every single game of any baseball season except LSU's baseball season. I start watching in the playoffs. So I am not 162 games glued to my TV, which, if someone is, they could probably argue better than me. But the entire point of this is to say, from my opinion, I believe winning in this game is dictated by a mix of 90% hitting and 10% pitching. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate pitching. I love pitchers. Paul Skeens coming up, that guy's going to be an all-time great. As long as he doesn't just prey on that 102 mile per hour fastball. Because someone like Mookie Betts is going to send that thing out of the park. Now, I appreciate it, even though I believe it's only 10%. But it just doesn't matter that much anymore. And look, the New York Yankees are not going to take my opinion and run with it. They're not going to Billy Bean Moneyball their way into the World Series and fix their issues by not having pitchers. Now, if they do, they want to send me $200 million in the mail. They want to say, hey, look, man, we need a new GM. Aaron Boone is trash. Be my guest. I'll probably spit on it because I'm a Stros fan, but probably accept it. It's more money I've ever seen in my life. This hitting dilemma, however, is one shared by most of baseball, even if they don't believe it. Because I don't think a single soul jumped out of their seat and said Shohei Ohtani did not deserve every bit of that $700 million they're giving to him. And that guy's not even pitching anymore. He'll wait his year and we'll see how it goes. But I mean, take a year break from pitching and hop right back in? I don't believe it. He's getting $700 million, the richest contract baseball has ever seen. It's not even close. And he's not even pitching. Let's stop talking about it, though. Let's look at what happened last year. Because the Texas Rangers, and it's the same reason why I've been showing every clip of the Texas Rangers known to man, they won. And they won pretty convincingly. And they beat everyone on the way to it. And if you look at the stats in the American League, Texas Rangers actually weren't that great on the mound. They were pretty much the bottom half of the league in every statistical category. But with a bat in their hands, they were, as Charles Oliveira would say, illuminated by God. Runs scored, Rangers on top. Hits, Rangers on top. RBIs, Rangers on top. Walks, you would not believe it, the Texas Rangers were on top of the board. I mean, you can go more in depth to that, but for the common man that doesn't want to spend 18 hours a day looking at baseball stats, that's pretty definitive that they were the best team with a bat in baseball. If you go to the teams that were best on the mound in the American League, you see the Rays, the Blue Jays, and the Mariners, who all either did not make the playoffs at all or were quite literally swept by better bats. The Rangers were quite literally Thanos in the batter's box. And when it got to the mound, they were closer to sucking than being good. The crazy part is this team added DeGrom. Jacob DeGrom, who's probably the best pitcher we've seen in the last 10 years. And granted, he did not play much because of the injury, but the front office knew that this hole was there. They added Scherzer halfway through the season. But even with these two, DeGrom goes out and then Scherzer played all right. He's getting older. They still put the first trophy in their case. In how many? 63 years? Now comes the question, can they replicate it? History says no. I'm hoping it's no. I want the Astros to go in there, destroy them in 4 games, and then go on to win another World Series. But as we predicted earlier, all I can do is go find the nearest church and pray that that will happen. We know the teams that'll be in the dance. We think. We actually have no real clue. The freaking Diamondbacks, Corbin Carroll decided he was the GOAT, and they got as far as they did. But we could look at a few things that the Rangers got done, and we can see if we think they'll be back. The Rangers team realistically probably doesn't change that much. DeGrom comes back, and then LSU's favorite loser, Wyatt Langford. That guy can play. I mean, I was hoping that he succeeded past the College World Series after he got completely destroyed, and it's looking like he's the best prospect in the draft. He is succeeding on levels that nobody else is right now. Not Dylan Cruz, who I thought had a better eye, not Paul Skeens, who actually got touched up towards the end of last year. Wyatt Langford has a real shot right now making the opening day lineup. Other than that, I mean, you got to get past the Astros are going to be the Astros. They're always going to be hard to compete with. And then the Yankees just added Juan Soto, who is the best eye in baseball, no doubt. But the Rangers are giving themselves a chance if they can replicate their offensive numbers. Other than the Rangers, though, let's use some creative thinking using the Rangers model of just be the greatest of all time swinging the bat. And let's add a few factors like a front office that makes good decisions, a team who historically gets it done, and typically a top 5 team every 5 years and is always in the category. Let's look at the Boston Red Sox, who last year were 6th in runs in their American League, 3rd in hits, 6th in RBIs, and 12th in walks. If the walk numbers would come up, then, I mean, this team is in not quite the top 5, but the fringe of it and everything. You got to look at this too. This team gets a little more patient and jumps up and walks. Who do they knock out? Because we can't say that they're going to replicate what the Rangers did last year. We can't say the Rangers are going to replicate what the Rangers did last year. But say they bring everything up, you got to look realistically. Who does this team knock out of the playoffs? Because first, their division's loaded. The Orioles are only going to get better. Their best players were rookies, and Jackson Holliday probably starts in the opening day lineup. The New York Yankees, who are all year going to be the New York Yankees until it gets to October, are going to be good. They just added a top 10 player in the game. But, I mean, this is a well-managed team. This is a team that historically is good. You can count on this team being close, and a wild card spot may very well be manageable. It's fun to look forward. It's fun to see what's going to go on, and we pretend like we can know, and we can pretend like we can get it right. We can put a bet down right now that the Boston Red Sox are going to make the playoffs, but I'm not parting with my money over that. It's just a prediction. But it's easy to say if the Rangers can replicate being first in every major offensive category, chances are they're going to be pretty dang good next year. They were going to run all year for the playoffs with the Astros, and I mean, they ended up winning it pretty convincingly. They beat everybody. It wasn't a soul they didn't beat. So we can't predict, because it's baseball, that this team is going to win the World Series, but we can easily say if any team can replicate what the Texas Rangers did this year, they're going to be hard to stop. This is my first video made that is not a Skyrim Nord running around plotting on the destruction of the Thalmor elves out of pure hatred. And little out of what's been done. But I wanted to say this was all inspired based on a love of baseball. And then there's two channels, Baseball Doesn't Exist and Foolish Bailey, who have proven a billion times they know 10 times more about baseball than I do. And they make pretty awesome videos. If you enjoy baseball, I'd go over there and watch them, because this, for a long time, will be the last baseball video I make. Next video will be about Post Malone and Jebediah Schlatt.